last visit to Vanuatu in the spring of 2011, the biggest change was the nearly completed hangar house that had been under construction for well over a year. When we were here in 2009, the construction site was still just a flat piece of dirt. Now things are nearing completion.
And this actually is the end result of it right here. And it's turned into a very comfortable accommodations for the family. They have their own place now, and we have a safe, secure place for the airplane.
Having lived in Vanuatu for several years, the Turnbull family came to realize they had several critical challenges they needed to solve in order to become more efficient in their mission work. They found that renting very small bungalows and moving around made it difficult to organize and keep track of all their medical equipment and supplies, as well as their own belongings. Simply put, they needed a permanent place to live, with space to be more organized. With the addition of the Mall airplane in 2007, the project expanded to other islands. There was the addition of more tools, parts, and equipment that were needed to service the airplane. Fuel was also shipped from another island, and extra space was needed to store fuel drums on 𝗖𝗘𝗘𝗏. When severe tropical storms come, the airplane needed to be protected. Serving more islands also means more patients, and that in turn means more medical supplies were needed. If patients were brought to 𝗖𝗘𝗏 for any kind of surgery, then overnight accommodations were needed. These and many other challenges could all be solved with a larger, permanent home that also functioned as a hangar for the airplane. And so in 2008, plans for a hangar home were made, and a small piece of land near the airstrip was purchased. The laborious process of construction began. Sand, rock, and fresh water for mixing the concrete was hauled many miles on the shoulders of these workers. The labor was strenuous without machinery or vehicles. Minimal tools were used. Electricity for the power tools was scarce, but the work continued forward. Scotty, an Australian volunteer, came to Vanuatu in 2009 to oversee the work on the foundation for the hangar house. The concrete foundations were laid that would support the steel trusses for the hangar. Getting the trusses completed was another challenge altogether. Construction of the trusses took longer than expected. Cyclone season was fast approaching, and the airplane needed to be protected. When the trusses were completed, Mark had difficulty getting a shipper to bring the trusses to the island of 𝗖𝗘𝗏.
Our second option was an extra trip this coming week, but that's fallen through as well. So now we're going to have to go and find another ship to do the job.
Because of their size, they wouldn't fit on some ships, and frankly, some of the shippers just did not want to deal with the hassle. Finally, Mark was able to get the trusses to the island of 𝗖𝗏𝗏, but the larger ship could not dock directly on dry land. This meant the trusses and the aluminum siding had to be carefully carried over the water on the shallow coral reefs while trying to prevent the corrosive salt water from touching anything. The trusses were then lifted and pulled into place by a crew of men. The siding and inner infrastructure was then added. Today, the hangar house is nearly finished. It has proven to be a tremendous blessing to the Turnbull family and their mission work.
Doing a little maintenance on the plane, Marcos?
Yeah, just checking a wire that's loose on the oil pressure.
I just explained to our friends about how the hangar house came into being. I thought maybe you might like to, show them around a little bit, tell them. I know the place is a little bit of a mess right now because you're kind of still under construction, but what's happening down here?
Okay, well, as you said, it's in a bit of a mess, but the bottom floor here is going to be a cement slab. And we have a washing area here. That's where Naomi does her washing up. Over here, we're hoping to have some kind of a workshop area because we've always got stuff that we need for maintenance purposes, even maintenance on the aircraft. So that side is going to be built in. We're actually going to leave a section here. This will be, we've used this already as an evangelistic hall, and we wanted to retain that capability. So we're going to have a place here where we can have a screen up here, and in here people will be able, we can have church services or whatever if there is a need for a large group of people. As you look out there, you can see we've got a kind of like an amphitheater type situation here where people can go out on the grass and we can have a lot of people here. So that's another aspect of it, or watching videos, showing Christian videos. This will be good for that. So this will be maintenance area. We're going to build some roofing here, and we're going to extend our area out the back here, so we've got a bit more space, more rooms. Round the back here, we're going to build, we're actually in the process now, planning stages, to build a health facility right here. It's a pretty tight fit in this little patch of ground here. This is where we're going to have our health facility, so we can deal with some surgery, some emergency surgery, mostly minor surgery, and some of the big cases that we bring in from outer islands or transfer for evacuation, with a couple of inpatient rooms in case we have people overnight, for example, or delivery cases, etc. So let me take you upstairs and we'll have a look at what's upstairs. It's a big home for us. From our point of view, it feels big. It's good because we can have plenty of visitors that way. Here we have like a big breezeway. This is like a veranda, which helps us when it's raining. We have hurricanes here. We have a lot of heavy tropical downpours, and so sometimes washing is a bit of a crisis. So that's why we've got washing lines here. And we've got big open space here, which sort of overflow area if there's a lot of people, like a fly and build group who came to stay with us. And upstairs we have storage space. We've got nice big open space up there in the attic area. So if you come in here, we'll I'll let Naomi go through the building itself, but this is going to be a kitchen area and living area. This is a bedroom which is serving as a kitchen. And here's Naomi. She's working in the kitchen. And she's going to lead us through a bit more.
Oh, hi. Welcome to the temporary kitchen. Yeah, as Mark was just saying, soon this will become a bedroom, but for the moment it's serving as a kitchen. And do you want to take a look at my oven over here? This is my oven for baking bread or pizzas or whatever we need to bake, and the 3-burner stove. I don't have a kitchen sink as yet, but it's coming. I think it will be installed in the next few weeks. Okay, this will serve out here as a kitchen, dining, family area, a nice big open space, and we're looking forward to getting that all finished off in the next couple of months, hopefully. We've got another bedroom in here. This is where our daughter Kay sleeps at the moment when she's at home. Okay, and then this is my office and work area here. Still working on a lot of things here, marking school books and doing that sort of stuff. So that's my little corner. And then in here is Mark's office. And this is where all the communication takes place in here with the teleradio and emails and all that sort of thing happens in this little room. Okay, now the next room in here is our bedroom for the moment. We still haven't quite moved in properly yet. We're still living out of suitcases, but we shall be getting some shelving and hanging space soon for the clothes to be hung up and get things a little more organized as we get more shelving put in. We've got a couple of girls that are staying with us because they live far away. Their families are quite a long distance. It's a long way for them to walk to school each day. So they're sleeping here, and they go home for a break when it's school holidays or sometimes on the weekend. So we're really thankful that we've got space to do this now. We haven't been able to do this for the last 5 years of our time here in Vanuatu. We've never had enough space when visitors came, like even Jeff and Mike, when they came, we had to borrow accommodation from other people. So we're really blessed that now we have space for people to come and stay and be hospitable towards them, which is a great blessing for us, and we hope it will be used more in the future as other people come and volunteer and come to help the project here in Vanuatu. We hope you've enjoyed going on a little tour with us to see what the Lord's been doing here in Vanuatu.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, and we just want to say thank you to the many people who've been involved in this building project and who've helped with funding, helped in different ways for the actual building process. Some have come a long way to help us, and this building is already proving to be a great blessing. It's now like an operating base for our service. We're going to have the health facility outside, and so that will enhance it further. And we are confident that God has great plans for this project. Thank you for supporting the project, those of you who have been involved, and just please pray for us because there's a lot of work before us.
Oftentimes, people write and ask me why the Turnbull family chose to live on 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧 when there's an active volcano on the island. I sat down with Mark and asked him to answer that very question.
Yeah, Vanuatu is very close to the New Hebrides Trench, which is one of the boundaries of the earth plates, right? And so there are a lot of earthquakes here.
It's actually one of the most active areas for earthquakes in the world. On top of that, we have volcanoes here, and this particular island has a potentially very dangerous volcano because it's sitting underneath a big lake, and so water plus fire makes steam, and so steam is extremely powerful. Anybody who studies a steam engine knows that. It could explode and blow the island to pieces. So, and then with earthquakes you have the possibility of tsunamis, and this is already located in a place that's got a lot of cyclones, coming through, hurricanes. So there's a lot of natural disasters taking place or potentially taking place in this area or at any one moment. So it is a dangerous place to live. 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧, out of all the islands in the banks, is the most dangerous in terms of the volcano. The last time it erupted, which was at the end of 2009, we were certainly questioning why we're based on 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧. It's something that we've got used to. We can see the volcano up over the hill there, and it just smokes away, and all we can say is if it does get very dangerous here, then we just pray that God will open our eyes to the situation and we'll just move on before we get affected by it. But there are a lot of people living here, and all of them are in the same predicament as we are. We believe it was providential that we came here, and God led us here, and we believe that God is quite willing and capable of leading us away from here if there is going to be some danger involved in being here. I would rather be at the hands of nature, because God controls nature, and God can stop that earthquake, or He can stop that volcano from erupting. I'd rather be in the hands of nature than be in the hands of man. But in terms of the aircraft, 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧 is definitely the best place to be, because 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧 is the gateway to the northern part of Vanuatu. It's the first stop when you're going north from Santo, which is our refueling base and our shopping area. That's where we get supplies from. And so going north, 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗑𝗧 is the first stop.
𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗑𝗧 is centrally located, relative to the unreached islands to the north and the more developed islands to the south. This puts 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗑𝗧 in a key location for easier and faster access to the unreached islands, especially in emergencies. There are currently finished airstrips on the islands of 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗓, 𝗏𝗏, Vanuatu, and Malta. In the last year, 3 new airstrips have been completed on the islands of 𝗏𝗏, 𝗏𝗏𝗏, and Malta. There are plans for potential airstrips in the northwest end of Vanuatu, 𝗏𝗏, and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, which is just east of 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗏. The next most pressing need for an airstrip is in 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, which is on the southern tip of Vanuatu. They have a large population there that could be reached for Christ. A new school was started on 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, and 2 more are being planned for Malta and 𝗏𝗏 Island. When the Turnbulls moved to Vanuatu in 2006, our objective was to reach the undeveloped islands to the north. As you can see, progress is being made, and God is blessing our efforts. One such blessing is the incredible story on how an airstrip was recently finished on 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 in one of the most difficult-to-reach islands in northern Vanuatu.
The main thing is, Jesus said, go, and He said, teach and heal, and help the people, minister to the needs of the people, and demonstrate God's love, and then see what God does, and see how God can open up the doors, and that's exactly what's happening. We have a lot of contact with 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 because 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗏𝗏𝗏 contains a lot of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 people. There are a lot of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏s who've moved from 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 to this island. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is like that. It's a very tough island to live on, and there are a lot of the family ties across the water there to this island of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, which is 30 miles southeast of here, and had plans for a school, but it's been very challenging getting across to 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, especially during about 9 months of the year when we have strong southeast winds. It's a real challenge to go there by boat. On one occasion we took 8 hours to go this 30 nautical miles, arriving there in the dark. So the idea of using the aircraft was an obvious alternative to think of, except for the fact that 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is really literally like that. It's a very, very steep island. And so one of my main objectives when going there was to check out the little peninsula. There's a little flat peninsula which goes out into the ocean off the northeast end, and that little tip there, there's been a lot of talk about putting an airstrip there for many years, since I think 30 years ago. When we looked at that place, it looked like a machinery job. It looked like it was going to be very difficult to do. The one area that has potential for an airstrip is kind of curved, it's not really straight. There's a lot of volcanics, very big stones in that area. Most of this area, you're hard-pressed finding soil. There's just gravelly stuff. It's on a peninsula and the wind kind of rips across the top of it. Fortunately, at that time, I didn't know how much was involved in making an airstrip. This is new to me. If I'd known, I think I would have abandoned the idea. And I got a GPS and I marked 200 meters. And I said, well, if we can start with 200 meters, I was telling them we could possibly put an airstrip in here.
We can get in and out.
I think it's good. I think it's excellent. I think the hillsides are just right. The upslopes and the downslopes are in the perfect place. And I think you'll use about a third of it once you get a handle on how to fly in and out of here.
They just got right into it. The people there have a very willing spirit, a very active spirit, and they started clearing the ground with ropes. We flew over the top and we threw down a big shipping rope, a big thick rope, and they've used that ever since to pull some of these big stones out the way. We gave them a crowbar and they used that to dig holes in the ground. Some of these stones were so big that to get rid of them, they actually had to dig holes in the ground and then push the stones into them and bury them. That was the only way to deal with them. Right here, all these stones here were on this area. It was very similar to what we see here. That's what they worked with here, and it wasn't a flat area. It was very bumpy, and there were hills, and they've had to extend it in all directions to make an airstrip. All of this done by hand.
What you are witnessing now is exactly how this airstrip was made. Men, women, and children all contributed, each carrying what they could. Large rocks were laid down and stacked several feet high, and smaller rocks and sand were laid on top to smooth out the surface. This process continued for more than 2 years, but when the airstrip was nearing completion, a problem came up that brought all construction to a halt and left the future of the airstrip in question.
We encountered a little bit of a few issues with a gentleman who claimed to own the coconuts in that area that had already been cut down by the local people there. This man tried to take advantage of the situation and started to claim that he was an owner of the land and the coconuts. On top of that, they used a leaf which is used here called a namale leaf to try and stop the work. If they put a namale leaf on something, it stops any progress from going forward until the chiefs have settled the issue. Namale leaf is representative of like a spiritual curse on anybody who will go against the namale leaf.
The namale leaf is seen on the Vanuatu flag as a symbol of peace. When a namale leaf is placed on the property of a business, for example, it brings that business to a halt, and no employees will enter the premises until the dispute is settled. In this case, a namale leaf was cut from the jungle and placed on the airstrip under the cover of darkness to halt its construction. When this happens, only a chief has the authority to remove the leaf without being subject to the curse that leaf could bring. The leaf was reported, and eventually it was taken down, just in time for Dr. Mark and veteran mall pilot Jeremy Ainsworth to do the first test landing on 𝗖𝗏𝗧𝗦. On August 17th of 2010, the 30-year dream of the natives on 𝗖𝗏𝗧𝗦 became a reality when the wheels of the mall airplane touched down on the island.
We ended up landing on this 160-meter patch of airstrip. Jeremy is an excellent pilot. And so we landed there, and when we arrived, the paramount chief of the island was there to welcome us with a huge crowd of people, and we had a big celebration for the opening of the airstrip. And so anyway, we came back to 𝗖𝗘𝗗𝗚𝗧, and immediately I received a call from the troublemaker, who was questioning me about whether I'd landed on 𝗲𝗏𝗏 or not. And I told him we just landed on 𝗲𝗏𝗏. And then he told me that he insisted that we never go there. I'm not supposed to go there. That he hadn't given approval for me to go and land there. After Jeremy left, I went over the airstrip again, and although I didn't land, I did come close to the ground, and I dropped some more tools for the people. And then when I got back, he called me again, and this time he threatened me again, and he said he was going to burn the aircraft, and that he would destroy everything that we're doing. And so I didn't know what to do. I have to admit, I was very, very concerned, because I had no intention of getting involved in any kind of a battle with this man. I was trying to help him. I was trying to show respect to the chiefs and to the authorities, the local authorities. At this point, we also produced a DVD of the landing, and this DVD is just a very poorly edited DVD. It was nothing fancy at all, but it had a bit of music to it, background music, and it showed the landing and the takeoff by Jeremy, and the hanging of flowers and the celebration and everybody being happy. And so this DVD, without any words, it was just a message, a visual message with some music, and the music was about faith, how we should trust in God. And so this video, just because this is 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏, you've got to understand, 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏 airstrip has been talked about for years. And some have said, some of the old people on 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏 said they didn't want to die until they saw an aircraft land on 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏. It's something they've been longing for years. People have come all the way to 𝗖𝗚𝗃 just to watch a plane land here, because on 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏 they don't see planes, they don't know what planes look like. And so there was a lot of excitement when the news was out that a plane had landed on 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏. And so this DVD just went like hotcakes. It went all over the country, and they put it on the national television network. It was on the local radio stations. It was in the newspaper. This DVD it was in hot demand. We were producing multiple copies, sending it everywhere. And the effect of this DVD was dramatic. And I learned through that experience the power of media, the power of a simple, very poorly edited DVD, what it can do in a situation like that. At this point in time, I received a letter from a lawyer, and the troublemaker had got hold of one of the best lawyers in the country, and the lawyer wrote to me, and he was going to take me to court unless I paid $10,000 for some coconuts that didn't belong to the guy who was claiming to own them. And so it was like I was half really in a state of doubt and perplexity and discouragement. But at the same time, a lot of people were telling me not to be discouraged, not to take any notice of this guy, just to keep going in faith. So I was in two minds, I have to admit. And so anyway, what happened was this DVD came out, and it really made it difficult for this man. So it just so happened there was a political conference on 𝗖𝗚𝗃, and a lot of the chiefs came from 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏. When they came here, they had a gathering of the chiefs, and one of them was appointed to set up a letter to respond to the lawyer who had been challenging me. And this letter, it was an extremely powerful defense on my behalf. These chiefs were backing me up completely on what I had done, and they wrote a second letter later. I requested another letter in which I wanted absolute, a clear request from the chiefs to come and land at 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏. So I had to resort to a lot of public measures in order to get the permission to go and land there before I actually landed myself. And so this whole thing was just like it was a big social battle, and there was so much involved in it. And it was a real victory when finally, earlier this year, I ended up landing myself at 𝗲𝗏𝗧𝗦 when they'd completed about 250 meters on the airstrip. And so now we're flying in there regularly. As I look back, all I can say is the whole experience bonded me more to them than it could have in any other way. So I believe that God actually allowed this to happen. The latest part of the story is that Chief Willie, who's the main chief at Big Stone where the airstrip is, he's the main chief in that area, he decided that he wanted to adopt me as his son. so going through this experience, I've ended up getting, I was given a staff which represents that he adopted me as his son. So he is now my father. He's now my adopted father on 𝗲𝗏𝗧𝗦 Island. He's the main chief of this whole area. Chief Willie. Last year I was wondering if they were going to deport me from Vanuatu, but this year I have the legal basis to become a 𝗍𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏 citizen. So everything is turned upside down. As I look back to the time when we walked on that area that is now the airstrip, I question how I could have seen the possibility of an airstrip at that place, because it's still, to this day, it's a very tough place to put an airstrip. It's the shortest, the roughest, the bumpiest, the most crooked, the most narrow airstrip in Vanuatu. That airstrip has so much significance to the people. When we first landed with Jeremy, there was people crying because of what they saw. The plane landed, and we were kissed by old men and young ladies, old ladies, everyone. We were just welcomed so keenly. And so all I can say is that God knows what He's doing. That whole experience taught me faith and helped me to understand that God is in control. Now I feel a little bit more courageous about attempting big things because of what we've been through.
If you would like to support this project or find out more about the mission work in Vanuatu, please contact our office or visit us online at www.lmn.org.